Aita, I actually wanted to talk about the PC building experience for me. Because, as if anyone didn't know, I built my own PC. Yeah, I built it myself. I built all of it by myself. And I'm pretty confident what I can do. I was like, this is so easy for me to do. I can easily do this. It took me like about 4 hours to do everything. It took me 4 hours to get all of it done. So, my friend, he came over to my house. I picked him up. I picked up my friend at about like... I picked up my friend at like, what time did I pick him up? I picked him up somewhere around like 11-ish. And I was like, okay, you're gonna come over to my house and we're gonna go ahead and build my computer. So he comes over to my house, right? And we're still waiting for me to get paid. So I said, you know what? You wanna just hang out until at Best Buy until we get paid? Until I get paid, I mean. So my friend was like, yeah, sure, it'll make it a little easier, right? We left my house at like 4 and we were at Best Buy at 4:30, right? I didn't get paid until 6 o'clock that night. And so my friend and I, we were just sitting in Best Buy for like the longest, right? I was already telling the Best Buy employee, like, I'm just waiting to get paid. Can we just hold the stuff that I want up at the front? So that way, once I get it, I can just leave. So, dude is just like, we can't do it for very long, but sure, why not? So, I made sure I did this because they only had one Ryzen 5600X. And so, I had to tell them because some other people were eyeing it. So I just told them, like, fuck that, give it to, like, just put it in the front if you can. And they did. They held it for me. We were waiting for 2 hours and my friend was pissed. So I was just like, I'm sorry, I'll make it up to you. I'll make it up to you. So that was fine. So we get home and the first thing I do is like open up my RAM, the DIMM slots, right? And my friend, and I was just like, okay, now what you have to do is gently put it in and then give it a little bit of pressure. The RAM slots got stuck. I didn't know what I was fucking doing. It was like, why is it not going all the way in? So I just put pressure on it and it finally clicked in. And I was just like, I feel like I broke something. And because the entire time I thought I broke something. So next thing I did was go ahead and just put this put the CPU. The CPU to me is like the easiest part. And then I had to put the CPU cooler on. I tightened the CPU cooler a lot harder on one side. So the left side was like all the way down, but then the right side was just like going up. So it was uneven. And so I was trying to put force on it because I was like, how the fuck do you do this? Right? So I kept putting force onto like the CPU and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try something. So I only like turned the CPU screws twice after I unscrewed them. And then I was able to finally get it in after like 10 minutes. Putting the CPU in is the easiest part to me. But the cooler was the hard part. So I tried putting the SSD in and I almost ripped off a piece of foam that was on it. I had to Google if that foam piece was supposed to be there or not. Because I was like, why is there foam on my motherboard? And so I was just like, you know what, it's okay, it's okay. The computer will be fine. I only touched it a few times. I didn't rip it off. I learned that it needs it for the heatsink. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine, that's fine. And then so I finally got most of the parts in by that point. And I was looking at it. And I was like, okay, now we gotta figure out how to even put this thing. We have to figure out how to put this thing inside the case. Now, I'm probably about to piss off a bunch of like really big PC people. But there's supposed to be a standoff on the motherboard, so I think it doesn't touch like the metal on it. And this is from this song is from Pokemon, Pokemon Diamond Pearl Platinum, or BDSP. It's Eternal Forest. So anyway, the I didn't put the standoff on my motherboards on my case. And so my motherboard is sitting directly on the metal right now. It's fine. It runs. I screwed everything in. I only put like 4 screws in the entire thing anyway, because I was like, you know what? It's okay. I only put 4 screws in. I put 1 on each side because there's like 7 of them. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So I put like only 4 in. I put 2 at the top where on each corner, and then I put another 2 on the bottom, right? Also, I forgot to mention this, but I was also bending the motherboard like up a little bit. Like when I was putting pressure on, the motherboard was going up just a little bit, not inside the case, but when I was putting some other part in. I don't remember which part it was that I was doing it to, because there's so many parts. Let me see. I don't remember where it is. But yeah, I started, like, the motherboard started going up a little bit. And I was like, you know what? The motherboard's fine. The only thing that doesn't work on my computer so far is just like one of the top I/O ports, and that's just the USB-C. The back works. The USB on the top works. The headphone jack, I don't know, because I don't have a headphone jack. But everything else works. It works just fine. The fans are good. The cable management is crap, but it works. My computer is fine.